Welcome to the Downtown, brought to you by Arlington Citizen Media. I am Daryl Smith Jr., and to my right is...
I am Rody John, and to my right is...
Amy!
In today's show, we sit down with Danny Lakey, the president of the Pantego Economic Development Corporation, to discuss what the Pantego EDC does, what makes Pantego special, and how Pantego and Arlington work together.
We were also on the scene last month at the 2019 Esports Awards, held here in Arlington at the Esports Stadium. We talked to some of the personalities and the winners that were on hand.
All right, we are here with Danny Lakey, the president of the Pantego Economic Development Corporation. How are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Doing well.
Good.
Thank you so much for coming out. I guess the first question really is, what is the Pantego Economic Development Corporation? What does it do?
So essentially, we actually are appointed by the town council,
Okay.
and we get funding from taxes. So a half cent of all the taxes you pay in the town of Pantego actually comes to a half a cent comes to the EDC.
Mm-hmm.
We use that to spend money basically for the public good. You've got one in the city of Arlington. Their EDC actually funds, well, we both fund all the parks, but they do like the stadium. So when you look at where the stadium funding comes from, they do that. The rules that govern us are a little bit different because we're a smaller city. And so they have big city rules and small city rules. And so our town, we operate a little bit differently. We're able to be a little bit more direct with how we fund businesses and help fund businesses and do things like that. So where we try to develop growth is more in small businesses or independent shops and things that come into Pantego, where we're not trying to bring in a stadium to fund the whole town. Right. We're actually trying to bring people into our town to help drive the business. So technically, an EDC can spend their funds on anything that promotes the public good.
Okay.
So
Interesting. So what makes Pantego special?
It's a really neat community. One of the great parts is, and it's not just Pantego, it's kind of the whole 013. My wife has never lived out of the zip code. It's almost like a cult, and you get in and you never get out. But it's the Pantego Arlington area. You go to the grocery store, you run into people you know. Yep. We know the people on the police force. We know our next door neighbors. We have a 2-minute response time from our police officers.
Wow.
We have our own fire department. We just got a new truck. So it's a really neat pocket in the middle of Arlington, which is in the middle of the Metroplex, and I mean, just as a whole, that's a great place to be, and we're right down in the middle. So we have some flyers and stuff, and it just says we have it all. Right. So if you come into Pantego, if we don't have it, Arlington's right next door.
Yes,
right?
fair.
But we have some different stuff. We focus a little bit more on small businesses. If you go through some of our shopping areas, almost exclusively, you can find the owner of every business in their business.
Right.
And if you're going into a restaurant, we've got quite a few independent restaurants and small restaurants. Not only are the owners going to be there, but in most cases, they're actually going to cook your food. So it's a little bit different. We may not have TGI Fridays and Chili's, but the restaurants we do have are pretty special and unique that you can't find anywhere else. And so that's one of the things as an EDC we're trying to put out and let everybody know that you can come in and get something a little different.
That's great.
So how does the city of Pantego work with the city of Arlington?
I think as a whole, our relationship's pretty good. There are some people within Pantego who don't like some of the people in Arlington, and vice versa. I mean, there's that the competitive side, and my backyard's better than your backyard kind of thing. But as a whole, city to city, I think we operate really well together. When we have special events, then the city of Arlington Police will cover us if our officers are out doing something. Like when we did National Night Out, then the city of Arlington was helping with us. Our fire departments work great. If there's a call, we'll come in, and we don't have a problem with answering in Arlington, and they don't have a problem coming into our area. I mean, it's really good. That whole area. It's a community, and quite frankly, we think we're better. I mean, that's just, I mean, we do. But if we don't work well together, if Arlington's not successful, Pantego's not.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And the two, that particular area, we depend on one another.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, it's kind of like because even like on like Pioneer, for instance, like one side of that is Arlington, like in some places, and some of it is Pantego. So you definitely got to have that sort of. You got to be able to work together, right. I guess, to make it work well.
Business-wise, we joined the Arlington Chamber. I think it was 4 years ago. It may have been 5. But we're one of the big donors as far as that goes. We really made a commitment to try to be part of that because we wanted to be more inclusive with Arlington, recognizing that we can't. I own my own company, and everybody in Pantego can shop with me,
right?
And I'm going to go bankrupt. Because there's just not enough. There's just not enough people in the town of Pantego to sustain some of our businesses. So we have to rely on the city of Arlington and the folks in it. And so we have to have a good partnership with it. We've been great with the chamber. They've changed their name now to the Greater Chamber of Arlington Chamber of Commerce. So I actually. Coined the phrase that we are the greater part of Arlington, because without us, you'd just be Arlington.
Yeah,
so
there you go.
Fair.
The greater Arlington area includes Pantego. So
yes,
absolutely,
I love it. Speaking of Arlington, we have a segment we have on here, the Tournament of Toppings, trying to find the best pizza here in Arlington. What is your favorite pizza place in Arlington and also Pantego?
Saljo's.
Saljo's. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
I keep passing by, but I just haven't swung in there yet.
You got to stop in. I mean, it's one of the restaurants where Saljo will make your pizza.
Right.
Either that or his wife will. They're in the restaurant every day. Saljo is from Albania.
Okay.
The Croatia.
Yeah.
Up in that area. And so he came into New Jersey, learned how to cook pizza there. He's been doing it forever. He came down. He's just a really neat guy. But he'll come out. He'll meet you. I encourage you to go there. But it's more of a New York style pizza.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, me too.
Very similar to Nizza Pizza, which I think they have good.
Yeah.
My favorite Arlington pizza place is Mama's.
Yeah,
It
like
probably
Mama's
has
a
been
lot.
for 30 years. So,
You're not alone on that one.
Yeah, we hear that a lot.
So Pantego has like 3,000 or less people in it. Does that help create kind of a small town? You were kind of alluding to that earlier. You know your neighbors, you know the business owners. Does that kind of help that small town feel of Pantego?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have one neighborhood, and then we have like 3 remote streets that are out of the one neighborhood. So literally, when I say my neighborhood, I mean that's the town.
Yeah.
Again, you go to the grocery store, you see the same people. And the folks that are over in the 013 from Arlington on that side, I mean, they're part of the same community. Right. That whole area is probably about 5,000 people, and you really get to know everyone. It's kind of a neat way to live in the middle of 350,000 people. In the middle of 8 million.
Right.
It's kind of neat. So
you like dial it down from large to smaller to smaller.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and like anything small, when you're talking about government, a few people can move things pretty easily because you have a lot more access to what's going on. One of the things we try to do business-wise is promote, when we're bringing in businesses, we're a little easier to work with in Arlington. So, like if you look at just your inspections, your building inspector, well, we only have the one. So when he comes out and he says, this is what you need to do.
That's what you need to do.
Exactly. And that's it. And sometimes in Arlington, people get frustrated because one guy will come out and he'll go, you need all this. And then your next visit, that guy doesn't even look at that. He looks at other stuff and says, now you need to do this. I'm like, wait a minute. If you'd have told me, we'd have done it. So sometimes it's inconsistent, and I mean I don't blame anybody for it. It just kind of
it's
the big
a
city.
lot of people that work across the street, really.
But so we don't have that problem. Our guy comes out and he says, "This is it." Yeah. Well, that's it.
What are so you were talking kind of about promoting businesses. What are some of your favorite? I can tell you some of my favorite Pantego businesses. I love New Main Brewing. Love going there. Mr. B's. I really like Mr. B's.
Dr. Jekyll's is one of my favorites. Dr. Jekyll's.
What are some of the places you like in Pantego that you would recommend for people to come check out?
Oh, I mean, there's
every one of them.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of them. I mean, there's a lot of neat stuff there.
Yeah.
When Dave Clark's over at New Main Brewery, and the lady who owns Mr. B's, her name escapes me, and I apologize. Please forgive me. But again, He's going to make your beer.
Yep.
She's going to cook your burger.
Yeah.
It just over at Jekyll's, the owner, she's going to pour your beer.
Mm-hmm.
So it's that kind of stuff. If you haven't been over to Mad Mike's, it's a great place to get some gourmet ice cream.
I want to. My kids are always like, let's
I
go
don't
there.
think I've been there.
I keep saying, yes, we'll go, and then I always forget.
My
But
wife
yeah.
and I had Selja's pizza for dinner last night.
See?
Yeah, there you go.
And actually, I had tuna and she had salmon, so it's not just pizza.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I had tuna and pasta. She had salmon and broccoli. And then we
nice.
went over to Mad Mike's and got some ice cream. So, we started out good and then ended up bad.
Or stayed on good. I mean,
Yeah.
no matter how
like
you look
ice
at
cream.
it.
I like ice cream. It sounds like a
Palate,
good
it was
meal.
good.
Yeah. Well, if anybody wanted to see what's going on social media, how do they do so?
We have a website called Shop Pantego.
Okay.
And you can go to the town of Pantego's website as well. There's a lot of stuff going on right now.
Right.
We've got a huge weekend coming up on Saturday.
Okay.
So it's going to start at 9 o'clock in the Pantego Christian Academy, Selja's Pizza parking lot.
Yes.
Bikes for Mission Arlington. There's a group of us here together. They've been doing it this will be the 11th official year, 12th year overall. Last year we collected just over 2,600 bikes.
That's a lot of bikes.
Our goal this year is 3,000. It looks like we're going to be able to hit it.
Nice.
Even though the cost of bikes went up, so that was good. We've had some really great events on that, but we donate those to Mission Arlington, and every year Tilly just tells us that we need more because as Mission Metroplex gets larger, there's a larger group that she's serving, and so our job is to try to get as many bikes as we can. But that starts at 9 o'clock. You can come out, bring a bike, then we take them all over to Mission Arlington. We unload the trucks, fill up the warehouse, and about 5 minutes after we get done, they open up the Christmas store and start giving them out.
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah, in one side, out the other. It's
Wow.
pretty crazy. So anyway, I brought some information on Bikes from Mission Arlington.
yeah.
But that
Thank
starts at 9.
Okay.
At 10 o'clock when the shops open, we've got it's the second annual 1,000 Snowflakes event, and we've got a bunch of businesses who are participating in that. And somehow I have misplaced the flyer for that. But we've got it's 14, 18 businesses that are doing that.
Okay.
You go in, you shop. If you just stop in any of the stores, you can fill out a card for a drawing, and they've got this basket. And the basket right now is like $2,500 worth of stuff.
Ooh, wow.
From just some of it's gifts, some of it's gift cards. There's some cash gift cards. I mean, it's pretty crazy. It started out with a $350 gift card for one free week at Camp Thurman, which is also in Pantego.
Right.
So the businesses have gotten together and they have this great basket. And every business that's participating, and you can find that on our Shop Pantego website, every business participating, you can put your name in. So the more businesses you go to, the more chances you have to win.
Yeah,
That's really good.
Yeah, and the whole event actually will start Thursday night with a ladies' night out event that they do once a quarter, that our shopping center's on 303. Most of them are on Park Row for this. There's a couple down on 303 that will participate in all of this. But, anytime, any of our retail outlets, a lot of them will stay open. They'll give prizes for that. But so this is a pretty big shopping event. So we go through all of that. And then at the end of the evening, New Main Brewery's having with Arlington Foodies, they're having their Christmas night where it's a craft fair. And so when the shops start ending for that, then you can go over, shop a little more over at New Main Brewery.
There.
Have a few beers, wind down, and so there's a lot going on in Pantego just next weekend because obviously it's fourth quarter, but we're kind of like that all the time. We've got
It seems that way.
Yeah.
It seems like every time, like I'll talk to David at New Main or Jennifer with the Foodies, and it's just like always something that's like a big event, like an all-day thing, and I think that's really great. I think that's a good way to like solidify all of those relationships in Pantego and work together towards something bigger. I think this is awesome. I think it sounds great.
I love how many events Pantego has on a regular basis. Like you said, this isn't just a normal fourth quarter thing. This is all year.
Yeah. So we did have to cancel our Christmas train. We do a Christmas train. They go through. Santa comes through, and we do a whole parade through the town. And, it's a candy train, and they give candy to the kids.
Oh,
and stuff.
awesome!
It was scheduled last weekend. There was a lot of rain, so we wound up having to cancel that. They rescheduled it, and unfortunately, I don't have the date, but I think it may have been this morning or yesterday. So, but